Hey guys, it is Ryan. I'm not sure if you know this about me, but I'm a bit of a fun fanatic when I can. I like to work, but I like fun too. And now I can tell you about my favorite place to have fun. Chumba Casino. They have hundreds of social casino style games to choose from with new games released each week. You can play for free and each day brings a new chance to collect daily bonuses. So join me in the fun. Sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Good evening. Welcome to WSBI, your resource for success podcast program, where you get to meet inspiring women-owned businesses from across the country. And now, for your host, Kimberly McLemore.
All right, good evening and welcome to WSBI, your Resource for Success podcast program, where you get to meet inspiring entrepreneurs and women-owned businesses from across the country. I am your host, Kimberly McLemore, CEO and founder of the Women's Small Business Initiative, LLC, and award-winning author. Welcome to another night of sharing. With us, we have special guest Paul Byrne. Paul Byrne is the founder and CEO of the Wall Printer USA. Paul is responsible for all executive functions, assuring the growth of the corporation and of the businesses that purchase a wall printer. His decades of business experience span B2B, B2C, retail, manufacturing, distribution, international business, and franchising. Paul has personally developed and launched business concepts and supported successful revenue growth, which leads to exist for several startups and established businesses. Paul thrives in rapid growth, high energy environments, and values a diverse culture with good people who like to dream big, work hard, and have fun. He leads with a positive attitude, humor, and humility. So without further ado, please help me welcome to my platform, Mr. Paul Byrne. Hey, Paul, how are you doing this evening?
Good, Kimberly. Thanks so much for inviting me to talk with you and your guests.
Well, I appreciate you taking some time out of your busy day to hang out with me, because I am sure that you could be doing other things, but at the same token, I really enjoy having the opportunity to talk to other professionals and people who have been in business for a long period of time. And it seems like you have a good track record here. But before we dive into talking strictly about the interview, why don't you tell the listeners just a little bit more about who Paul really is?
Oh, my God. There's a loaded question for you and your audience. That's almost like, what does Paul want to do when he grows up?
There you go.
So I will say that I'm 70 years old, so I have quite a bit of experience behind me. I won't indulge your audience with having to listen to Paul was born at a very young age and take you through the entire journey. But suffice to say, I have opened, founded, exited more than a dozen small businesses in my professional path and careers. I have worked for several companies, large corporations, small businesses, to learn what I like to do, what I don't like to do, what hats I like to wear, what hats I don't like to wear, which hopefully helped me along the way and helped me get to where I am today. And that is in a very good place where I have a business that helps other people create their own business opportunities. I'm industry and product agnostic. What I mean by that is one of the hats, or the hats, I learned to wear well and enjoyed for years was that of the sales and marketing areas. And so while I did not like the management and administrative tasks, legal, financial, that businesses also require to succeed, I was better off hiring smarter things and focus on the things I enjoyed and did better. Which was, again, the marketing, identifying high-value customers, vendors, strategic partners, or investors, helping companies grow, whether that be by revenue, strategic relationships, and positioning them for either growth or exit. And I've done that with various products over the years, everything from a self-service dog wash system from Australia to a baby bottle that was a unique design for mothers and fathers both, from Austria, and software company for audio and video solutions from Russia, a Chinese headband headphone for children.
Wow.
And now today I am representing and own a vertical printing product that puts artwork onto the walls of businesses, residences, apartments, schools, hospitals, any wall, indoors or outdoors, adding artwork.
Wow.
And that's something that I have done for the past 3 years now, grown to about 115 businesses we put into business using these machines. And this is probably going to be my last hurrah. I've done this too many times before. And that's kind of quickly brought you through to today.
Right. Okay. Yeah, a lot of great information. So we're going to kind of backtrack a little bit because you really talked about some very interesting things, and your journey has definitely been full and vibrant. But I want you to kind of go back to what made you, first of all, decide that business is what you really wanted to do, and how did you get started in the first business, and talk a little bit about some of the the good and the bad and ugly of being in business, the failures, and how you kind of either got back up and started again. I mean, because you literally have done a lot in the many years that you've been in business. So give us a little bit more about that journey.
Sure, Kimberly. And it wasn't all a straight hockey stick trajectory for me by any means. There were its peaks and valleys along the way. My original path was really geared out for teaching. I graduated with a degree in mathematics and a teaching minor, and my first job was high school mathematics teacher. And I thought that's what I really wanted to do. I was always good at math. I always enjoyed it. I enjoyed relationships. I benefited by a lot of very good and healthy relationships. I've also suffered by some bad ones. But at the same time, I really enjoyed teaching. And I did that for 3 years out of college. But I also put myself through college, well, beyond the good graces of my parents, who helped a lot along the way, financially and emotionally, in every other way possible that parents nurture their children. I had a couple of good ones. But for spending money, I worked, and what I did was I strung tennis rackets for the athletic department. I'm a tennis player, very competitive, even at my current age of 71. I still play singles and doubles regularly, a few times a week. But that's what I was captain of my tennis team in college, and I strung tennis rackets for the athletic department, making some of my spending play money at that time. And I became very good at it, and people had always asked me to string their tennis rackets for them when necessary. And again, with your audience maybe knowing or not knowing what that even means, every tennis racket has strings in it, and somebody's got to put those in. That's what I did.
Right.
And so I started a tennis shop with a friend who was out of work at the time when I started my first career as a mathematics teacher. And he was out of work. We played tennis together. A lot of people were still asking me to string their tennis rackets, and we decided to open up in the college town where I graduated school. And it became very successful and consumed a lot of time that I enjoyed learning about retail business, about things like ordering and sourcing products and materials. And we got beyond tennis into other products and clothing and things like that. And I found that very fascinating. The vendor aspects, the customer relationships aspect, the financial aspects of the retail business trade. And it was consuming enough time that the school administration, who really liked me and I liked teaching, but I didn't like a lot of the administrative. This was early on, learning the hats you like to wear and the ones you don't like to wear. I didn't like a lot of the administrative activities that were required of teaching. And that's not a comment on the system being good, bad, or whatever. Right. It's just there were some aspects that weren't for me. I enjoyed the students. I'd probably still be teaching today, 50 years later, if I was able to just teach and didn't have to put up with a lot of the other stuff, parents included. But so I was given an alternative. In my third year of teaching, which was the tenure year, they said, Paul, we know you have a lot of outside interests here. You've got your tennis shops, which was well known at the time. I expanded from one store to 3 stores. Oh, wow. And they said, you're going to have to make a decision. Is this the path you want to go with your life, or do you want to continue to teach?
Right.
And again, just like I say to you and your audience, I enjoyed the teaching, but I really enjoyed the business and enjoyed the aspects of it and the independence and the control that it gave me, and the opportunities that I saw on that path. And so I quit teaching, and that was the beginning of my journey. It went on to very quickly, after 3 years in the tennis shops, a family friend who had a manufacturing facility, a business selling jewelry and manufacturing jewelry all around the country. His business was growing, and he wanted somebody to take on a sales and also a factory management role. He saw what I was doing with my business, and he thought I would be really good, and he made me the proverbial offer I couldn't refuse. And I sold my interest in my tennis shops to my partner, who continued that business going, and it continued to thrive for him and his family. And I went off to learn some things about other aspects of business in this role of a sales and office manager at this jewelry manufacturing company.
Right.
Once again, learning the hats I liked to wear, the ones I didn't like to wear.
Right.
Didn't like a lot of the administrative activities. Loved dealing with customers. I was traveling 5 days a week, in and out of 5 cities a week. Did things in my early 20s of travel and things that I had never really thought of or did before, and really enjoyed that. What I didn't like was a lot of the administrative activities that I had to do after I engaged the customers in terms of overseeing orders and packaging and shipping and things like that. Didn't really thrill me greatly. And so after a couple of years, I left that job, and I actually went to work for a competitor who let me just do the traveling and the customer relations and business development. And I did that and made good money. But then the travel got tiring. And a friend of mine was in the restaurant business, and he wanted to open up a new, different type of restaurant. And here I was, finished a couple of years of traveling, wining and dining for a couple of years. I think anybody who goes out to eat thinks they can be in the restaurant business. Don't do it, is my caution. That's certainly not the case. And I was smart enough to know that wasn't the case, but it was a very attractive business to me. And I was still young. I was in my 30s, and my friend was very capable and had a very good track record, and he wanted to do something different. And he was in a business, and he sold out to his partner, and he pulled some money and put it aside. I pulled some money and put it aside and stopped traveling on this jewelry company I was representing. And we took a year off and decided to see, number one, can we be in business together?
Right.
I learned a lot about picking partners and how to pick them and how to do your research and homework on a business as well. And we spent literally a full year doing that. We played tennis every morning. We went out to lunch, played tennis every afternoon, went out for dinner, shared ideas, made a decision whether or not we could be in business together. And when that decision was in the affirmative, we decided what type of a restaurant we wanted to form. I was in it for the real estate and just the business aspect. He was in it for the whole business, the whole restaurant side of things, and food service and all that. But it was a wonderful relationship that created a business that I'm very proud to say, after, let's see, that was 1979. So 44 years later, the business is still open and thriving. I was in it for only 12 years, only 12 years out of the 44 years, but it is still open today in upstate New York, and wonderful experience. And I sold out to my partner in 1990, 12 years into it. Moved to Florida because I wanted to play tennis every day, and my parents moved to Florida when they retired, so I followed them down.
Okay.
Sold my interest in the restaurant, opened up another restaurant in Florida, and everything I made in 12 years in New York, I lost in 1 year in Florida. So that was what I call I don't like to call these experiences failures. It was a learning experience.
Oh, absolutely.
And so,
but yeah, let me ask
and then
you.
I went on to.
Go ahead.
Yeah, please.
I want to ask you. I mean, the one thing I'm listening to, and I've noticed that on your journeys, that you definitely have a knack with working with people. You're a people person. People seem to gravitate to you, and then when you have something that you're interested in, you really go full force on it. In your learning process, I really like, because you're hands on to everything that you were doing, and you've learned throughout the years, like you said, what you like, don't like. And the thing I've heard you say over and over is the administrative side. So I'm going to let you finish your story that you want to tell, but I want to get into how is it that you, on the administrative side, what have you done differently? Because that's the piece that seems to be the crutch for you that you didn't like. So we'll talk about that in a second. Go ahead.
Well, no, I can pause here in this journey,
Okay.
and I can talk endlessly as well. But it's a really good question, Kimberly, and something that really does just travel through it all. Somebody said to me once, or they actually frequently ask me when I have these types of conversations, what makes me, or what is a good leader or a good CEO of a company? Mm-hmm. And my answer is always the same, and it's what I've learned over the years. And some people do it well, and some people not so well. I'd like to think I do it well, and which is an answer to your question. The definition to me of a good CEO or a good leader is somebody who is smart enough to hire the best people to do the jobs that are needed, but wise enough to back off and let them do it. I have built good teams. I haven't had really large businesses. My restaurant was probably the largest, with about 80 or so employees. Mm-hmm. Currently, I have 15 employees, and it's a wonderful team. And people stay in their lane for the most part, but they do cooperate. And building the relationships where people understand what their role is, and hopefully they're good at that role, but can still have the wherewithal and the bandwidth and the opportunity to help others and to grow and to learn more. Me, I do like dealing with people. I like the relationships. I like finding out what people are doing today and why do they want to buy a wall printer and be in the business of putting art on walls. Are they photographers or painters, or are they the grandfather or father whose child is coming out of high school or college and doesn't know what they want to do with their lives, and for the cost of a small car, they'll go ahead and buy them a wall printing machine for $30,000 and put them in business and teach them some things about life in that regard. And so developing these type of relationships.
ET is Ryan Seacrest here. People always say it's good to unwind, but that's easier said than done. The exception, Chumba Casino. They actually make it easier done than said, or at least the same. Chumba Casino is an online social casino with hundreds of casino-style games like slots and blackjack. Play for fun. Play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. Sign up now and collect your free welcome bonus at ChumbaCasino.com. Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Recently, a new client called me and started by saying, "Mr. Morgan, I really need your help, but I'm just a nobody." Those words stunned me, and I immediately called him back, and we're now helping him and his family after a terrible accident. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Everybody who comes to our firm at their time of need is a somebody. I grew up poor, but my grandmother was like a queen to us. At Morgan & Morgan, our goal is to level the playing field for you and your family at your time of need. The insurance company has unlimited money and resources. You need a firm who can fight them toe-to-toe. For right at 30 years, we have fought them in courtrooms throughout America. Our results speak for themselves. And always remember this: everybody is a somebody, and nobody is a nobody. Visit forthepeople.com to learn about our firm. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Has always driven me. And I've always put myself in positions where I could do that. Sure, when I was in the restaurant business, I tended bar. I learned how to wash dishes. Those weren't the things I wanted to do. But yeah, I do like to get in things 100% and learn what is involved. But then I'm not the best qualified person to be doing that day in and day out.
Right.
And so you hire people who can do it.
Right. But they say your journey has just been amazing because all the things that you've done and all the things that you've learned along the way. And I think the thing that I've loved the most listening to you talk is how you value other people and how you've also helped them along the way, which is enriched you in your life in so many different ways. I think that's the thing that's really standing out to me the most listening to your conversation here, because, you get a lot of people who are in business, and as many years as you have been in business, with all the several things you've had going on in your life, that a lot of people don't always give back in the way that you're giving back. And even though you were still obviously making a great living and have done well throughout the years, you can just hear it in your tone of your voice that you truly care about people and the successes that they get as well as you're partnering with these individuals.
Well, I appreciate that, Kimberly. And maybe even more so is the very fact that people have cared about me through this whole journey. And I've been blessed by having good family and good friends that during some of those valleys, have been there just as well as they are there to benefit by some of my peaks. And so, there are times that, I've had to look in my couch for quarters that people dropped or that I dropped to be able to put gas in my car to get to the next gig or to buy the next meal. And, there are times where I've flown friends to come and visit with me and spend some time. And there are times when I've relied on people and family and friends who have helped me financially as well as emotionally. And hopefully I've given back, as you pointed out, in kind when the opportunities existed. And when it didn't exist for me or for them, it didn't matter, because as long as the intentions are good and you're honest with people and you sleep well at night as a result of that, I think it's all been good. Have I had only great relationships? No, I've had partnerships that were either founded by or developed in a direction that wasn't intended and wasn't beneficial. But hopefully you learn from that. Exactly. And the same thing goes for, the people that work for me and the roles that I've taken. I have liked working for other people because I've learned a lot from different businesses and people that I've worked for. But I also have learned that I do like to have the control, and I don't mind taking the risk. So, it falls with me to either succeed or to pivot, or to, go in a different direction when it's warranted. And I like making those decisions. Fortunately, I have a wonderful wife who, for 30 years, come next week, which is our 30th anniversary, she's put up with me. Well, thank you for that. I don't know if I deserved it, but she's put up with me. Most of the time, like with my current business, when I'm between things, and like I've described earlier, all those different products and services that I've promoted to build businesses for my benefit. Usually I'm in my home office, and when I say to Maureen, I yell into another room and I say, come on, take a look at this. Rather than doing that, she usually cuts up my credit cards and hides the bank account. Oh, no, here.
Oh, man, she's like, no more.
We're going to go on another ride.
Right. Oh, my goodness.
But this time she was all in, and as am I, and we have built something we think is wonderful, and hopefully this journey will continue now. And as I said, I'm 71 years old. Don't have a lot of these left in me, but I'm enjoying this one.
Well, yeah, like I said, it sounds like it's been a great journey. Like I said, there's always going to be a lot of ups and downs. And I think the thing that I like I said, your story is very profound, and it's something that people need to listen to more deeply. It's not just about all the successes and all the business you have. And obviously, like I said, it's been there for you. It's been good. You've been able to continue, make a living, and continue to keep stopping and starting and, finding new journeys and stuff. But I think what people need to understand is that, a lot of times when they meet you or meet other people who they find that are successful in business, they don't understand all that hard work that comes with it and how you have to stick with everything. It's not just a fly by night, or that you're a success overnight. Everything is truly, it means that you have to be dedicated. And you're definitely talking about this type of dedication that a lot of people don't get to hear every day, because all they can see is what is being accomplished right now. And so having these conversations, I think I said, are very well and profound and need to be done more regularly so that people can come and conversate with you more about, hey, tell me a little bit more about your journey, because I'm trying to do the same thing. And I'm sure that you do give great advice. But while we're here on this interview, tell the audience one good piece of great advice you would give them if they were starting a business today.
If they were starting a new business?
Yeah, today.
Do your homework. Yeah, do your homework. Make sure that you've got a solution to somebody's problem. There are a lot of good ideas. There's a lot of people who think they can build a better mousetrap, and hopefully they can. But if you're not solving some problem with your idea, your service, your product, you're probably wasting your time. Make sure that and we've got the benefit of the world of the internet to do a lot of research and a lot of homework and a lot of, what business people like to call due diligence,
right?
Where they can find out, who else is doing this, how are they doing it. And if you do, in fact, have a better solution because it's either a less expensive or more feature-rich or more reliable product, or you can do it better than somebody else, then okay. I mean, that's why there's 20 hamburger places and, 50 plumbers and electricians in every place. I'm fortunate that I found something, and usually and that's one of the things that I do is I find products that are fairly innovative, that there isn't a lot of duplication. And then I try to make sure, as I do it, that it is in fact a solution to a problem that people have, which in my case is putting art on walls.
Right.
There aren't that many ways to do it. You can put a framed picture on. You can hire a painter to do something that'll take weeks, where my printer will do it in hours. Where you find something that just will solve a problem with your solution. That's my first step in doing anything.
Exactly. And that's great advice, because that's, I think, a part of that I see a lot of today is that people want that instant gratification. They don't want to take the time to do the real research because, like you said, they think that they have the answers and like, hey, I can do this better than next. And not to say like they can't, but at the end of the day, if you're doing that research, you're really going to know. You don't have to guess. And I think the other thing that I like that you talk about, it's more of chasing, not the money. It's more about chasing your purpose and your dreams and following through with that so that all the other stuff just falls into place. And that's really what it is about being in business. And you've identified that.
Yeah, and you have to be passionate about it.
Right.
You have to love it. You have to believe in it. You have to, if you don't have the confidence in that product, person, partner, service, job, if you don't have the confidence in them, you're not going to succeed. You're not going to thrive in that environment.
Exactly.
And so that's something you need to be cautious about too. Make sure you're putting yourself in a position that you can grow and you can learn and you can move on after that to something else if that's the case. If not, just that you can succeed, for your own goals and your own dreams. And of course, for those that you're doing it for, besides yourself.
Exactly. All right. Well, like I said, this is right here has been an excellent conversation. But please tell everybody, Paul, how they can reach out to you if they're definitely interested in learning how they can get this beautiful artwork of theirs on the wall by going through your company. And then if there's anything else you'd like to share about, if you have any events coming up or any talks that you want to tell everybody, please let us know.
Yeah, I appreciate this, Kimberly, and the opportunity to talk with your audience. I don't do these as a sales thing. If they want to learn about the wall printer, it's very easy. You can go to thewallprinter.com, our website, 15 seconds, and looking at a little video tells you everything you need to know about that. And you can certainly reach out to us through that website. But beyond that, you can connect with me on LinkedIn. I really enjoy talking to people and connecting with people and learning their stories. And if I can be of any benefit, a quick search for Paul Barron on LinkedIn will tell people how to connect with me, and I'm happy to do that. It's not an advertisement for LinkedIn. It's just that it's a good professional network, and it's a good way to connect with people that might be doing the same thing you're thinking of doing.
That's right. All right. Well, again, I really do appreciate you spending some time with me this evening. It has been a great conversation, and I hope that the listeners have learned something this evening because, like you said, being in business is more than just, like I said, about the money. It's truly about being passionate, truly about understanding what you're getting into, and looking at everything is not as a failure, but as a learning process. And you have definitely laid all that out for us this evening. And again, I do absolutely appreciate you coming on with me this evening, Barron. And I hope that you have a wonderful rest of the evening. And then I hope that we'll be talking again soon in the future.
Thanks so much, Kimberly. I enjoyed it.
It is my pleasure. And again, I thank you for coming on tonight. And like I said, for everybody else, before we close out, I hope that you all learned about how you can live those dreams, what it takes to do the hard work, to be successful, and realize that not everything comes overnight, but at the end of the day, you can still have everything that you want. If you're ready and you're determined and you want to lean forward into living your dreams, and you need to have a little help, reach out to me at any time at Kimberly at WSBILC@gmail.com, and let's have that chat so we can take those steps and we can turn those steps, as I always say, into your dreams, turn those dreams into actual goals. If you want more of your resource for success, monetary donations to support the podcast are now accepted on Cash App, PayPal, Good Pod's tip jar, or you can go directly to the website at www.wsbilc.com. Again, we would like to thank you all for listening to us tonight. We will be back next week with more amazing guests. Be sure to follow us on iHeartRadio or wherever you listen to your podcasts. But until then, you enjoy the rest of your evening, and good night.
Good night, everyone. We will be back next Thursday evening at 7 p.m. Follow us on Spreaker, www.spreaker.com/user/WSBI. View our new WSBI website anytime at www.wsbillc.com and on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Instagram.
It is Ryan Seacrest here. Everybody needs some variety in life. That's what I love about Chumba Casino. They know how to keep things fresh and exciting. All their games are free to play, like spin slots, bingo, and solitaire. You can claim free daily login bonuses, too. And they release new games every week. So spice things up with ChumbaCasino.com now for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply.
People are driven by the search for better. But when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate isn't to search at all. Don't search, match with Indeed. The hiring process can be slow and overwhelming. Simplify hiring with Indeed. Indeed is your matching and hiring platform. With over 350 million global monthly visitors according to Indeed data, and a matching engine that helps you find quality candidates fast. Ditch the busy work. Use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging so you can connect with candidates faster. Join more than 3.5 million businesses worldwide that use Indeed to hire great talent fast. Listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/PODKATZ13. That's Indeed.com/PODKATZ13. Terms and conditions apply.